let's dive in and start looking at this. Let's first look at some key aspects. Then I'm going to show you the actual text that we used in the document. All right. So just 5 quick keys that we're going to run through here as you're doing this. So we're in that meeting. Remember the 4 meeting model? You see that up in the right-hand corner, and I have that picture in all 5 of these keys here. Okay, so you can kind of track with me. So the timing of when this proposal happens, it can't happen in meeting 1 and meeting 2. You're going to have a low close rate. You're going to have the wrong audience. You can't do it that way. Okay, so you need meeting 3, and it works a whole lot better in my experience if you wait and leave the company and call them on the phone. And here's why. There's a difference in quoting a high price with somebody face-to-face versus over the phone. It's a whole lot easier over the phone. So if you're if you're face-to-face and you're quoting a price that feels scary to you because you don't have the close rate you want, you don't have enough business, you're a little bit behind, you start to look desperate. And it really is true. Body language, they may not be able to point their finger at what it is, but there's something about you that looks uneasy, which makes you look untrustworthy. In fact, in this month's newsletter, where is that? I got one here somewhere. Yeah, you have to check this out. See, is it this one? No, it's not. It's last month's newsletter, wherever that is. Maybe this is it. No, that's not it either. All right, I think it was last month's newsletter. I can't remember. Anyway, there's a book called What Everybody is Saying. It's by an FBI agent. Can't remember who the FBI agent is. What Everybody is Saying. It's a book about reading body language. And he talks about all these things we do that we don't really think about, but we're doing. And you wonder why someone else would pick this up when they themselves don't know. But here's what he says. He says, for instance, just some examples. Templing is something that people do when they are sure of themselves. Folding the hands is something people do when they're nervous. Touching their neck. Women do this all the time when they're worried about something or unsettled about something. Guys touch the back of their neck. They're stimulating their vagus nerve when they do this to comfort themselves. Rubbing their thighs is the same thing. It stimulates that nerve. It brings comfort to the body. Now, what he says is these are all limbic system responses that are in the lower level of your right brain. Remember, I told you there are 4 levels of the right brain. In the 2 lower levels are things that happen so fast you have no conscious understanding that they're happening. And they are learned responses from all the way from being an infant, where you have learned to touch different areas of your body that bring comfort to your body. Okay, back of your neck brings comfort. You might find that when you're driving and you're tired, you rub the back of your neck. What does that do to keep you awake? It turns out that it does. It's a learned response. It comes from the limbic system. You're not really thinking about it. You don't even know why you do it, but you do it. Okay? But the other person's brain, right brain, knows it too, even though you don't know it, because you only think about stuff that's on the left side of your brain because it's in your library of words, and this isn't in your library of words. So when people see you face to face and you make gestures that show a lack of confidence or uneasiness, like it's going to be $100,000, I'm really worried, I really need this deal, and I'm going to go out of business if I don't get it. You don't have to say all that. Your body said it for you. And that other person's right brain picks it up and sees it and goes, there's a problem. I don't know what it is, but there's a problem. Okay? Now that's really weird, I know, but it's fact. It is demonstratable in brain scans, and they can actually see what's happening, different kinds of responses that occur in the body under certain circumstances, and how people react to those responses. So here's the point. Meeting 3 is by phone because it is easier. They can't see me, and it's easier for me to talk about price even if I'm uneasy about it. And so I do it on the phone. And I also don't really need to see them at this point. I just need them to give me a verbal yes. Okay? That's what we're doing. So the timing of this needs to be in meeting 3. That's the interview. That's where it happens. And we already talked about what do you do if they don't agree. You drop back to meeting 2. So you're in meeting 3. The timing and the positioning of this agreement, it's got to be when they're ready to buy it. Okay? Key strategy, what if? Now, I talked about this a little bit when I went through the diagram, and to reiterate, what I said is, when I'm working through my assessment deliverable, I need to figure out exactly what they want, and here's the statement I use. What if? Okay, so let's go back to the business that I did the assessment with, and I said, we can get to your network from the parking lot, and you've got servers sending data over to China, and your people here are emailing sensitive data out through email, like credit card numbers and stuff like that. What if? What if we could make it so that whenever someone tried to connect to your wireless network, our network would analyze or understand who that is, make sure that system was supposed to be connected to here, and also make sure that it wasn't compromised before it connected to here? What if we could block the transmission of data to weird places? What if we could detect malware coming in that tries to do that sort of thing and stop it right at the perimeter? What if we had technology? I'm thinking about sandbox technology, all the UTM firewall stuff. I'm thinking about data leakage technology and that person who's trying to email out. What if we could put some kind of encrypted email solution in place so your AP person doesn't actually have to know that it's encrypted, it just is? What if we could put that kind of technology in place? What if we could make it so that when people were using mobile devices, that it always came in through a secure, I'm thinking proxy server, but these are business people, there was a way to funnel that traffic through some kind of service so that they're not able to be attacked by the person sitting next to them at Starbucks. So when they're working on sensitive information, there's no chance, really, not any real chance, of somebody breaking into their stuff. And I'm looking for the nods. I'm looking for them going, yeah, oh yeah, that would be really cool. And there are some things that they're going to be like, I don't know. Okay? That's a what if statement. It's picturing. Again, it's emotional. I'm getting them to picture it, right brain, and I'm getting them to want it. Okay? Yeah, that sounds good, or that doesn't sound that good. All right? And then, of course, the other strategy, caution here is don't rush this. Okay? They may not be ready to buy. You cannot push people to buy because it's end of month. You just have to start generating enough business so that it doesn't matter what part of the month it is for you. Okay? And that happens by following these principles, following the lunch and learn strategies I'm putting out there, following the house in the cloud messaging, using the assessments, doing all the things that make this sales process clean and easy so that you've got enough names coming in. I have a lot of information out there, and we'll be going through more next quarter on prospecting and getting new people in your list, people from LinkedIn and other social media areas, creating a conversion engine inside your website, creating funnel technology, building lead magnets, doing all the kinds of things that help you prospect and get enough names in here so you're not chasing these people around that don't really want to buy anything. Okay, that's what we're doing. All right. Okay, somebody asked when this will be posted. If you have joined this through the webinar, which everyone here has, then as soon as I'm done, within an hour, this recording should be sent out with a replay link. It won't be broken up and on my site yet, but there'll be a replay link that you can get to. And if you don't see it, you can email us at coaching@stelzl.us, and Hannah will send you that replay link if you don't see it. But you should get it automatically. So if anybody had to drop off or whatever it is, you'll get that link. All right, pressing on. Number 2, the positioning. So we got the timing, now we got the positioning of this thing. All right, this is an urgent issue. So I don't like to lead with things like compliance and other stuff that is, we need it sometime. So for instance, if you're proposing managed services because we can kind of flatten out your cost and figure out your CapEx and your OpEx and make things a little easier, that doesn't have to happen tomorrow. But when I find that one of your services is transmitting data to China right now, that's urgent. That's like, we need to fix this now. Like, I don't even think you want to wait for a proposal on this. We just want to get someone in here. All right? That's what we're doing. We're trying to reduce acceptable levels of risk. And I want you to think of this as a marketing document. It's not going to sell the deal for you, but it shouldn't look like a legal document. It should look like a marketing document. It should be easy to read. It should be fun to read. It should look good. It should be simple to understand, and it should be simple to sign. Okay? It is written to an asset owner, meaning it's not heavy technical. You don't need to get super detailed in this thing. Okay? I know a lot of people think you do. You don't. I have sold big deals to big companies, even with IT involved, and I have not detailed the technology in any way, and it's been okay. All right? So don't think it does. Okay? I'm positioning as an executive level agreement between me and the buyer, and I'm telling them, hey, we're going to accomplish this, and here's what we're going to accomplish. Okay? This is not a tool to sell. When I say it's a marketing document, I mean it reinforces our brand, it looks good and all that sort of stuff. It compels them to buy. It's not a sales tool like I'm going to use this to make the sale. Okay? It's not a negotiation for sure. We should have agreed on our price already. So we don't want to be thinking I'm negotiating here. We're not negotiating. We are giving them a document that reiterates what you and I have already agreed to verbally. And when we have that agreement in place, we're ready to sign something. It's also a place to raise, not a place to raise objections. Okay, we've already handled that stuff. So if you have objections, if the client does, they should bring those up in meeting 2. That's where I ferret all that stuff out. In meeting 3, I've reiterated what we're going to do, and there may be another objection like, wow, that's expensive, because that's the first time they've heard the price. Okay, I'm going to address that before I ever get to this document. I am not going to, and I've seen lots of salespeople say this, just don't discuss price, send them the price in the document. That's the first time they ever see it, and don't worry about it. Don't do that, especially in small business where people are really, pinching pennies, and they get this thing, and it's like way outside their ballpark, and you had no idea. You spent all this time, and it's a waste. Okay? Don't do that. It is not a dissertation, meaning we are not detailing all the stuff that we're going to do in here. We're specifying a few benefits. You'll see mine, it's very high level. It's not detailed, and we don't want to be detailed. I can use pretty much the same proposal for every deal I do that's similar. Okay, I have a couple of different things, but if I'm speaking at a keynote at an association meeting, I got one proposal. If I'm doing a training orientation and then they're going to roll into my training program online, I've got a proposal for that. If I'm speaking at a channel summit, I've got a proposal for that. They look similar, but they're a little bit different. But I can use, for any channel summit, I can use the same exact document pretty much. And for any managed service deal, you should be able to use a very similar proposal. Okay, very similar. And you shouldn't be doing a lot of projects that are way outside of what you normally do. So you should have a few different, look and feels. They'll all be very similar. It was just some minor details in scope layout, and you'll send the same stuff. And it's also not a data sheet. Like, don't re-articulate all the stuff that should be in a data sheet, preferably online. Just refer them to your website. Okay, what's included in your managed service offering or your MSP security, stuff? There's a page. Here's the link. Boom. Okay, send them to it. Okay, and then I'd like you to take yours for a moment and look at it now. So let's just look at evaluation. Take a look at your proposal. Okay, look at it. Is yours a proposal or is it an agreement? Take a look at the length of it. Is it long? I say here over 5 pages. I mean, it could be 6, it could be 7. I'm not so concerned about that. But is it 20 or is it like 5? How about the language? Is it written in an easy to read language? My first page is like a cover letter. John, subject, whatever it is, security remediation initiative, whatever. Okay. And then you'll see how I roll into it. But it's a letter, and it's very easy to read. Okay, is there enough detail in here to shop? Have I listed all the little things that we're going to do and all the things that need to be fixed? If I have, it's going to be easy for that person to go shop that price. I don't want that. We're pretty high level here. Okay, and then again, you're looking at your own proposal here. What's your conversion rate? Have you been measuring it? And I really do urge you, I urge everybody to measure your conversion rate. You should have a list of all the proposals you've put out. Here we are, quarter through the year. You should know exactly how many proposals you put out this year so far, and you should have a good feel for what your conversion rate is. And you should have the same thing from last year, and you ought to be able to compare them. Right? Last year I had a 50% conversion rate or a 20% conversion rate. This year I'm trying to grow that to 40%. Okay, you don't need to go all the way to 99% for me to be happy. Just take it a notch up, grow it, right? I didn't go from 15 to 90 overnight. I moved up. Let's double it. Let's get to 30. Let's get to 60. That's how I did it. Okay. And, I started climbing and climbing and went, you know what? I mean, I can improve this. I can get to the point where everything just closes. And the stuff that doesn't close, I don't do. I just move on, And the temptation is to not move on, but you can just move on. All right, number 3. So I've got timing. I've got how it gets positioned. Now we're talking about signing it. Is it easy to sign? So take a look at your sign page, okay? But that's not really what we're looking at, is it? The signed page. Yeah, it should be easy. It should be a simple place to sign the thing. But what makes it easy to sign? What makes it easy to sign is what you're going to do is spelled out clearly, okay? So I say here on the slide, like 7th grade language. We're talking about newspaper level writing. A lot of newspapers. Wall Street Journal, I think, is 9th grade level. Other papers are more like 6th and 7th, maybe even 5th grade level writing. We're looking for simple writing, nothing technical. We want to clearly state our objectives and our scope. We've got it short, okay, down to, 5 pages or so. And we're not just delivering a quote here. What that means is sometimes with smaller resellers, smaller technology providers, smaller whatever, MSPs, I see this spreadsheet looking thing, which is like line items with a quote, almost like you're getting your deck painted or something like that. Don't do that, okay? We're trying to move up. We're trying to move from vendor to advisor. This is not a product quote. Now, there may need to be a quote for product somewhere. It's in the appendix, okay? It's not your agreement. Your agreement is a letter, and it's to somebody, and it promises some benefit. And we'll go through that in mine, okay? That's what it is, and it's got some high-level milestones that are going to be achieved. These are outcomes, and the terms are simple. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the court, who you take to court and who you wouldn't. But simple terms means you got to ask yourself, what are we really willing to hold our client to? All right, one thing that you do need to be careful about is having your client steal your people. I got to a point when I was running a reseller business and I had some really good people, really expensive people. I put in my contract, because I had already fought this battle a few times where they stole my people. I put in my contract, you are welcome to hire our people. In this case, we act as a placement agency, and we charge you 25% of the salary you offer that person. Okay? That holds up a whole lot better, believe it or not, than you cannot hire our people. Because if somebody wants to quit your company and go work for that company, it's sticky. It's not a simple black and white thing unless they've signed a non-compete. And if they have signed a it's not a compete issue though. They're going to a client. So there is no competition here. So actually, it's pretty hard to hold them to that. They don't want to work for you anymore. They want to go work over there. What are you going to do? I don't know if you've run into that before. I know in my state that my lawyers told me there's really nothing you can do about that. However, you can act as a placement agency, and they've signed it. So, hey, they've signed my contract. You are now a headhunter. Great. Hire my people. I'm going to take 25%, and I'm going to take that money over here, and I'm going to hire a new one through a headhunter because I just got $25,000 for that guy. And if you want to give me $25,000, that's great. $100,000 salary or whatever it is. So try, do that. Number 4, I priced it to get signed. All right. What that means is in meeting 3, I have floated the price. Okay. It should be a fixed price. It should be pre-approved. We're going to talk about pricing tomorrow. It should be value priced. Okay. So again, we'll cover all that tomorrow, and it should be clearly priced. Okay. I like to put my price as an investment in a large font in, bold print, because I want them to see it. It's the first thing they're looking for anyway, so there's no reason to hide it, and don't make it look like they have to figure a bunch of math out to figure out what the price is. Just have it down there. Total price, $2,000 a month, or total price, $10,000 remediation, $2,000 a month recurring. Whatever, okay? A lot of times I will have an option, okay? Remediation, $10,000. Managed service, $2,000 a month. Both for some price, okay? If they buy both, there's a discount. Okay, we'll talk about discounts tomorrow. But the point is, it needs to be priced so it's easy, and then it needs to be sent to get signed. All right? Now, what I mean here is a lot of people go by to get it signed. People never sign these things in person. So I wouldn't be thinking they're going to. They're probably not going to sign it in person. So instead, it's better to get the value proposition meeting in person. They agree on everything. You call in, you get them to agree verbally, you email the proposal in, and you have some kind of urgency, like we're going to get this scheduled, next week. That's your urgency. But they need time to look at it. They need time to get it, print it, look at it. They might have to have someone else look at it, sign it, get it back to you. Okay, most people are not just going to sign it, so don't. Send it to the asset owner. It's got a cover letter. It's got their name on it. It's written to them. It's already agreed to by them. You're asking them for a signature. That's fine. You're noting a start date, and you're going to follow up with them in a couple of days. And you're going to say something like, just want to make sure you had the proposal. Any questions? If not, send it back. Now, we are going to talk about what to do if they don't sign it. And I can't remember where that slide is. So I'm just going to tell you right now, and you might want to write this down. There are two approaches to this, and they're both exactly the same. One's a little bit more positive, one's a little bit more negative. The negative one, I understand, has a better conversion rate, but I've used it less often, so I'm going to give you both of them. Okay? It is a 9-word email. Okay, so write this down, 9-word email. This is after I've tried to follow up, things have gone dark, I haven't been able to get to them anymore. Do you still need help with your what? Do you still need help with securing your data? Do you still need help stopping ransomware? Do you still need help fixing the security issues? Dave. Boom. Okay? Real short and sweet. And it's tempting to go on and say, just wanted to check, haven't heard from you in a while. Forget all that. Just 9 words. Do you still, Bob, do you still need help with, the security? Dave. Okay, that's it. And it turns out that email actually gets a really good response. I use it for you. You may have gotten one from me if you've, delayed signing something with me. Do you still need help with growing sales? Do you still need help transitioning to security? Dave. The negative one is, have you decided not to fix your security issue? Have you decided not to fix the security issue? Let me know. Dave. Okay? A guy who taught that to me is a negotiator. I learned it from his book. I didn't speak to him in person. And it's in next month's recommended book. Okay? But it is powerful. Okay, and he explains why the negative should work better than the positive, but I haven't tried it enough to know. I just learned about it, and I'm starting to use it now. But it's a great little phrase, okay, and it gets a high response. So use that. Here it is. If they don't sign it, remind them, then go to the 9-word email, okay, and I just gave you the 9-word email, okay? Here it is. Do you still need help securing your data? Boom. And then the 2-year marketing plan. 2-year marketing plan, if you've read The House in the Cloud, it's in there somewhere, simply means that John is now on my marketing list. He's back in my drip campaign. I'm going to invite him to stuff like webinars and anything that's mass mail. I'm going to send him postcards, invite him to lunch and learns, whatever happens in the mass mail world. He's not a client. I'm not going to pester him. I'm not going to take time to personally call him. He didn't respond to my 9-word email, or he responded negatively to it. No, I don't need help right now. We decided to do something else. Fine. You're in my 2-year marketing plan now. And as long as you're subscribed to me, you're going to get my emails. And if you're not subscribed to me, you might still get my postcards and letters because you can't unsubscribe hard copy mail. And I'm just going to market to you forever until you either, send me death threats or give in. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. All right? I'm going to connect with email. I'm going to send him landing pages. I'm going to drip campaign this guy. All right? He's not a client anymore, and I'm not going to waste time one-on-one with him anymore. I'm just going to put him back into my automated marketing machine, which is some of the stuff we'll be talking about next time. And I actually have a training out there which is really good, which talks a lot about marketing automation, called the Automatic Customer Machine, which if you're in Peak Performers or Mastery Coaching Group, you have access to. If not, it's available for purchase out there in the training programs.